Welcome to Sri Chhatrapati Academy Study Ayush Forum, the Osteology series of the upper limb. In the previous lecture, we have covered the first bone to be ossified, which is called as clavicle. Now, the second bone we will cover. So, let us start today's session. Welcome to the field of treatment. Our today's agenda is human anatomy from modern aspect perspective, osteology. Okay. So before starting in lecture, I have give you some inspiration thoughts. So today's thought was given by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the 11th President of Independent India. Failure will never overtake me if my definition to succeed is strong enough. APJ Abdul Kalam gave this thought. Okay. Next, human osteology, scapula. So this is all the things we will cover in today's lecture. The scapula. The scapula, in Latin it is called as shoulder blade. Okay. The bone is placed on the posterior lateral aspect in the thoracic cage. It is present in the posterior part in the thoracic cage. It has three borders, three angles, three surfaces and three processes. It has three angles, two surfaces and three borders, right? And three processes also. This is coronoid process, this is acromion process, and at posterior side there is a spinous process, right? Now, how to determine the side, which side that scapula is? It is right or it is left? So there are 3 points. The glenoid cavity, this is a glenoid cavity which is present on the lateral side, so you can easily determine which is lateral side. Okay. Now the dorsal surface. Now dorsal surface, we can see that it is like this. It is concave forwards, but there is a spinous process present on the posterior side. So dorsal surface can be easily recognized. Now the lateral, that lateral border is there. That lateral border is the thickest border. That can be also the point of side determination. Okay. Now the features. The surfaces, there are two surfaces. This is costal surface or ventral surface. It is a concave forwards. So here there is a muscle attachment. We can see in further. So see, this is a glenoid fossa where glenoid cavity is present, and then it articulates with the humerus with the help of ball and socket joint. This is acromion process. This is coronoid process, and between at the root of the coronoid process there is a presence of suprascapular notch. There is a longitudinal ridges present which give lever system action to this scapula, that we will see in one more lecture of lever systems. There are three types of lever, first, second and third. How they work we will see later on. Now this is, here is present of infraglenoid tubercle, and here it is a supraglenoid tubercle present. Okay. Here there are the attachments of various muscles. Here there is a tricep brachii and all. Okay. Now the angle. This is the lateral angle formed by glenoid cavity, lateral or glenoid angle. This is superior angle and this is inferior angle. Okay. Now there are processes. What are the processes present? This is the spinous process present on the dorsal side. It is very easily determined. Okay. It is a thick part, elevation. Okay. And that further goes and forms the acromion process here. And here is a coracoid process. Coracoid process of the scapula. And with this spinous process divides the posterior part of the scapula into the two parts, which is supraspinous fossa and infraspinous fossa. Okay. Now we will see the attachments of the very important bone, that is scapula. Very easy attachment. There are many muscles, I know, but when you will study it regularly, you will easily understand. Now at the ventral surface or the costal surface, there is a origin of subscapularis muscle. Okay. Scapularis, below, from body it is sub, means it is below the scapula, so it is subscapularis muscle. Here at the medial part, always remember, in scapula middle part has origin, has insertion. Medial part has insertion only, blue color, it is insertion. Okay. Now here present, and serratus anterior muscle anteriorly at the medial border. They are present in digitations. There are like digitations. So here they are present. Okay. Now here, as I said earlier, here is a long head of tricep brachii present in the inferior inferior glenoid tubercle, and superior tubercle has a long bicep brachii. Okay, and here at a coracoid process, here at the tip there is a origin of the coracobrachialis muscle and pectoralis minor muscle. Okay, there are many facets for articulation also. There are many ligaments also present. Now this was the ventral part. Let us see the dorsal perspective. Dorsal side we know that there is a spinous process. So above the spinous process there is a supraspinous fossa. In that there is a supraspinatus muscle. Below there is a infraspinous fossa, and there is the origin of infraspinatus muscle. Okay, now as I told you earlier that medial part as always has the insertion. So here upper part there is a presence of levator scapulae muscle, then there is a rhomboid minor muscle, and then there is a rhomboid major muscle. Levator scapulae, rhomboid minor, rhomboid major and rhomboid minor muscle. Now let us see the spinous process. Now spinous process, there at the border, at the dorsal border or the posterior border, there is origin of the shoulder curve muscle which we have seen in the clavicle part, that is deltoid. So ventrally to the deltoid there is a insertion of the very important muscle which is called as trapezius muscle. Here it is a trapezius muscle. So when we have seen medial part, always remember in lateral side there is always origin of the muscles. Okay, origin, LO, low. We see lol, lots of laughter. So remember LO, right? So in this LO, L means lateral and O means origin. Okay. Now at a lateral part, here when we see at the infraglenoid tubercle, there is a long head of tricep brachii. Okay, and below this there are also many muscles. Okay, this is teres major muscle, this is teres minor muscle, and this is a latissimus dorsi, which is a back muscle. It is very small part, his origin in the scapulary region. Okay, and here with the help, here there is a teres minor muscle, and there is a space for the circumflex scapular artery, right? This was all about the muscle attachment. Here there is a ligament capsule, that is shoulder capsule, which holds the head of the humerus, right? Now we will see the this part, what it is, the superior part seen from the dorsal perspective. This is a spinous process. Okay, and there are the attachments on the coracoid process. So let us see what are the attachments. We have seen that on the clavicle there was, in a lateral 1/3 part, there was a presence of a tubercle and a trapezoid region, right? So that all tubercle, that is conoid tubercle and that trapezium part attaches to this coracoclavicular ligaments, and which forms the conoid and trapezoid parts respectively, right? Here is a insertion of the pectoralis minor muscle. Here we have seen that the origin of coracobrachialis muscle. Now here at the root of the coracoid process there is a presence of inferior belly, means the that part, there is a belly is the thing, this is the muscle. So this, all the fibers of the muscle where are present in large amount, they are called as belly of the muscle. So inferior part of the homohyoid muscle, right, inferior belly of that part is present, insertion is origin is present here, right? Now here there is a suprascapular notch. It is a spinoglenoid notch present here. See, this is a spinoglenoid notch between means spinous process, right? And here there is a bridging ligament between them. This ligament is called as suprascapular ligament, which forms the bridge, and below that bridge the respective artery passes. So it works like bridge between these two bones, right? This is the superior angle, as we all see earlier. So now let's see the ossification. Ossification means how that bone is formed. So the scapula ossifies from primary center and 7 secondary centers. The primary center appears near the glenoid cavity. See here, glenoid cavity it is appearing. Okay. The other centers including 2 for acromion process and 1 for lower 2/3 of the margin of the glenoid cavity, 1 for the middle border and 1 for the inferior angle appear at the puberty and fuse by 25th year. This is all the rectification processes. You know, you have to remember this all processes for becoming a better physician or a better surgeon. So you can know how and when that bone is particularly ossifying, right? So now let us see the clinical anatomy. What are the clinical issues we face regarding the scapula? So scapula, clinical anatomy, when there is a paralysis of the muscle that is called as serratus anterior, we have seen on the anterior aspect of the medial border, right, of the scapula. So it causes the winging of scapula. The medial border of the bone becomes unduly prominent and the arm cannot be abducted below 90 degree. It can't go like this, right? So we can see the winging of scapula. Scapula is coming outside this part. Okay, and the second is the scapoid scapula. It is a developmental anomaly in which the middle border is concave. We have seen this is the lateral border, is the glenoid cavity, and this is the medial border. So it is becoming concave. So that is also a pathological part, or it is a part of the clinical anatomy, right? So thank you for today. Keep studying and keep asking doubts. The more the doubts are, the more the concepts are clear. So till that, study well and watch the upper limb series of osteology, right? Thank you.